The number one thing that you can do to help yourself for your akhirah is to stop caring about what people think. I know a lot of people who struggle with the idea of being perceived while praying in public spaces when you live in the West. And that's something, quite frankly, you just need to get over. And the only way you're going to get over it is by exposure therapy, is by praying outside. Every time you pray, that specific portion of the earth is going to testify and bear witness for you on the day of judgment that you prayed on it. It's going to speak on your behalf. And that is the way I had prayer framed for me when I was a kid. And so when I was 12 and had to then pray because I got my period, right? Anytime I would be out, I would be excited. I would genuinely be excited to pray in a new spot because I knew that the earth was going to testify on my behalf, right? And unfortunately, that's not the framework in which a lot of American Muslims were raised. A lot of people were raised to assimilate, to fit in. But the fact of the matter is, we're Muslim. We're going to stick out no matter what we do, right? And so you might as well do that with your full force and your full being and your full yaqeen and knowledge that Allah sees what you're doing and you're going to be rewarded for it, even if you struggle. One of the most distracted prayers I've ever had in my life was, I've two very distracted prayers I've had in my life. In high school, I would go and I would pray my Dhuhr prayers in the office. And then I would go to class in between like lunch breaks and everything. But that one day there was a medical emergency and I couldn't go into the office. So I prayed as the bell was ringing and passing period began in front of everyone in my white high school. I don't think there was any khushu in that prayer, but I just knew I needed to get it done because of the timing. And I might have been distracted and I might have been self-conscious and embarrassed and all of these things, but regardless of that, despite all of that, I still did it. And the more you put yourself into these situations, the more you'll realize nothing actually matters, nothing is that deep, especially when you are submitting. Because when you are submitting, that is the highest form of breaking free and breaking out of the matrix of the dunya, is submitting to Allah. Because if you're not a slave to God, you are a slave to something else. You're a slave to work, a slave to capitalism, a slave to what people think, a slave to yada yada yada, XYZ. There could be endless amounts of masters you have if you are not submitting full force to the one master, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so get used to praying outside, and it's a beautiful feeling to know that the earth is going to testify you, and it's a beautiful feeling to pray outside and have the sun, have the air, be where you are. And I guess I should follow up with my second most distracted prayer probably was on a very, very busy street in New York City. I was running late for dinner at a fancy restaurant, and it was like Usr was ending. I had like a full New York City like packed day, and I was like, I just need to pray. And I still felt self-conscious even though I was like in my 20s, but it was worth it. I might have been distracted, might have been not the best prayer I could have had, but it's about the submission of it all. And I know Allah saw my efforts. That's what I wanted to say.